Hey folks, it's your buddy Jason here, back with another video about Stationeers. Since our last video, I've done a lot of research on logic circuits and stuff like that, and I found a logic circuit I like better than the easy one that I showed you. This is going to be a two-part video because this is a more complicated reader, but I know everybody can handle it, and we'll go over it piece by piece as we go. So before we get started on the first part, the total project will require 4 math units, 2 logic or I/O units, and 4 memory units. I have 5 here, but you know, that's one to grow on. So let's dive into the first part. Now what we're going to be doing here is this. We have to set up, and we need some space to set up. There's a bunch of memory and logic and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and throw my memory units on here. And let's go, I tell you what, let's go ahead and grab my labeler and let's turn that on. Let's label these. This one is going to be 0.6666. This one is going to be -15. I'll always do that. This one is going to be 100, and this one is going to be 0. Okay, so turn those off right now, and we'll get back to those in a second. But now let's go ahead and place, we need to place a logic writer, and we'll get into why we're doing that in just a second. I'll place this guy. Let's go up here. And for part 1, we need one of our math units. We need a logic math. So, and we don't actually need the solar array, so not really, or the solar angle during this one. The first thing we're doing here, and this is because there's not really a super easy way to do this in the game, and we need to save us some space, is that we're assigning 0.666666 whatever to this memory unit. There's no other real way to do that. You can't do it with a screwdriver or any of those things. You have to do it with this method, or there's a couple other methods that are supposed to work, but I haven't had any luck with them. This is a little bit more work, but it works for sure. So now one thing I'm going to go ahead and do is all of these memory units are going to stay here. So I'm going to go ahead and wire them up. Okay, so I'm going to have that be a 4-way. We're going to do a junction here, and then I'm going to do another one here. And there's going to be a lot of cabling involved, and it's going to get kind of messy, which is one of the reasons that I named this, or it'll look kind of messy. It won't really be that bad. Now, we're going to need to bring power over from our power outlet, or our power cabling there. So let's go ahead and get this junction turned around. Let's get that. Okay. And from here, let's go ahead and build another junction. So we're gonna just wire all this stuff down here together, and that's the specific reason that you're always gonna want to label things, or at least I like to label things, because it just makes life a whole lot easier in this game. That's going to actually be a junction. So we're going to have to probably tear a lot of this down when we do the next part, but I'm just doing this in the quickest, easiest way I can. And once I get all this wiring done, we're going to go over exactly what we're doing here. But for the moment, I'm just putting stuff together real quick. Okay. So now, the reason that we have to do all this, and let's go ahead and put up our labeler. We won't need it for a few more minutes. The reason we have to do all of this is we have to get 0.666 in there, right? So our out is going to go to 0.666, and then the setting. So our input is going to be logic math, and output is 666 in the variable, right? Alright, so it's going to be this divided by that. So this needs to be, we need to set these are at 0 right now, and we need to set these to 3 and 2. So negative 15 and 100. So for this one, we're going to bring in 100, which is set to 3, negative 15. We're going to make this divide. So now when we do that, this should output 0.66667, right? So it's set to that now. And that is the entire point of this whole first video. Now, let's go through this real quick. Now, I named these negative 15 and 100 because that's what their states are going to be set to, right? So if I change that, which I didn't mean to, it's going to set it to 1. So now we want to go ahead and turn this off because this is set. We do not want this to make any changes to that, because that's why we did all of that work. And then now this one, to be honest with you, we can go ahead and set to its actual variable. So this one's going to be negative 15, and this one's going to be 100, and this one's going to be 0. So we now have our 0.666, our negative 15, our 100, and our 0 set to the states that they're supposed to be set to. Now, let's put our screwdrivers up right now and rip some of this down. And as I said initially, right, you divide this by that, so that's why we had that set to 3 and that to 2. And that gave us 0.666 to this, and we'll discuss all of that in the next video. But this is the very necessary first part to make this work. So once again, math unit with 2 coming into this side, 3 on this side, dividing. So it goes out to here to a writer that goes to our memory unit so that we can make it 0.6666667. We have to change that to the setting, and then we have it, the input from the logic math. All right, so I will see you in a few minutes when I get this next video set up. I'm going to go ahead and tear this stuff down so you guys don't have to watch all that boring crap. And then we will start over with all of our memory and logic set, and you will see a brand new way to, and a much more accurate way to track the solar angle with your solar panels. We'll see you guys soon.